Hi, everybody. My name is Nanika Edwards, and I'm from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. In this video, I'm going to be sharing one very convincing reason, why Chinese is much easier than people think. And, well, one of the reasons why Chinese is so easy is because the grammar is very basic and straightforward. When people look at the script, they assume that the grammar is going to be is going to be as complicated as the script looks, but that's really not the case. If you really think about how Chinese, if they don't speak English perfectly, how they speak English, especially if their English is pretty basic level, then you will understand what the structure of Chinese is like, the structure of the language when people are speaking Chinese. It's actually very simple and straightforward. I'll probably do a more in depth series about this at some point, but I would just say that there are things like there's certain aspects of the language that just make it very, very doable. For example, unlike Spanish, you don't have gender agreements to deal with, like masculine nouns having to go with masculine adjectives and feminine nouns having to be matched with feminine adjectives and that kind of thing. Likewise with French and Portuguese and so on. Chinese does not have that. Chinese does not have a word for the, but they get around that perfectly fine. They don't have a word for or un. So you don't have to worry about, again, those gender agreements. In fact, for or un, they just use the number one. So, for example, instead of saying, in English we say I have an apple, but in Chinese they would say I have one apple. I have one apple. But isn't that what and un mean? They mean that we have one, right? So, they just make things very straightforward, and they have very simple sentence patterns and ways of indicating that an action is completed or that something is in the future, or different what are called particles. So Chinese is very doable, very, very doable, and very, very logical and straightforward. So, if you're worried about the grammar, don't be. It's very easy for the most part. You just have to learn some basic sentence patterns in most cases. They tend to be set. They don't, you just have to learn the pattern, know what words to stick in where. And usually they're very simple and straightforward. So yeah, that's it. Chinese is very, very doable. Don't be fooled by the hype. Don't be fooled by the hype. I get so upset when I see articles or posts online where people are talking about how difficult Chinese is. It is not difficult. What you have to do really to ace Chinese is understand how the language works, understand what are the different puzzle pieces that come together to make the language work, and then individually study those different pieces and then bring them together so that you master the whole language. That's really how you have to approach it, and it's really very doable. So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, thank you for giving it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more content that I have coming in the future, then please subscribe to my channel. Until next time.